have my
on
camera.
its way. I'm so excited. All right. So, guys, hi. This is Shy here with Pure Prison tonight. We're hoping this is going to go well. We've had some technical difficulties, to say the least. This is Christopher, and that's a great name. That's my son's name. Um, so
Oh,
he's going to be joining us tonight. He has some stories to tell us. And actually, I'm just going to let him go ahead and introduce himself really quick. So, Chris, go ahead.
hi, my name's Chris from Dallas, Texas. Um, Born in 1988. Did about 11 years flat in prison, 18 to 29 years old, and I've been out for almost 4 years now.
Wow. Okay. So that's a long time. Uh,
hmm
18. So that's you were a kid. Mind telling us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I always had a really good childhood growing up. I, I can't blame anything on my family. They were perfect, the perfect family you could ever ask for. So it really came down to me just being a little just hoodlum, like running around, hanging out with the wrong people, doing drugs, partying. At one point, I think I was taking about nine ecstasy pills at a time. And from the age of about 15 to 18 is whenever it really got bad. Like it went from just doing party drugs and stuff to really being out in the streets and wanting to be a drug dealer and like idolizing all these guys that were older than me.
Oh,
Yeah. Thinking that was cool, right? So
yeah.
I'm this kid and I'm looking at my surroundings went from like people who didn't do drugs to that's all I was hanging out with was people that did drugs. And then it evolved into like really big drug dealers. Like guys were getting caught going to prison for 40, 50 years. And like it just became a normal thing to me. So, boy, good. Sorry, my dog. Um, and,
Not the dog.
and so before I knew it, I was selling drugs. I was ODing on drugs. I've gotten robbed multiple times. I've robbed people multiple times. It got really bad. And in my experience, I know not everybody would say this, but prison saved me. It really did. I don't know where I would be, honestly, if I didn't go to jail.
It's
Um,
so funny. It's funny that you say that. Yeah. Well, I want to ask something. A lot of people are going to say, okay, well, he said he had a great family. Where were they? You were 18. Were you already on your own? Were you still living at home? Did they not see? A
uh,
lot of people have those questions. I came from a great family too, and they didn't
yeah,
have a clue.
exactly. No, I ran away from home probably 6 times at least. My mom would be out at 2 or 3 in the morning looking for me. I'd be staying at girls' houses, and like she would bounce around with, with the cops, just looking for me everywhere. And
That
it
kid.
got so bad. It got so bad. The cops were like, "If he runs away one more time, he's going to jail. Like you've already maxed out your runaway attempts." So my mom pretty much just started locking the door on me. She's like, "You know what? If you have somewhere better to sleep, then sleep there. You're not coming home if that's how you want to be." So to me, I was just, I was a little
Right.
rebel. I was like,
Got it.
"You know what, mom? F you, mom. You
So
don't
now,
know me."
um,
Uh,
okay, you're 18 years old. What happened? What's going through your head? What's your process there? I mean, going to the big boy
yeah. So
pen.
So I had a girlfriend who I ended up getting pregnant, and we had a son. And my mom ended up moving us from the house we were living in because it got so bad to somewhere about 45, 50 minutes away. Just totally took me out of it, right? And my girl at the time came with me, um, and we were living together. But I was literally still leaving This is around the time I had about 4 cars by that point. Like my parents just kept buying me cars because I would total them. I'd be out racing them. Like my first car was a Mustang, I think, and that was a bad idea. But I ended up leaving that house and literally leaving my girl there and driving to all the way to Grand Prairie every night just to hang out with my friends. And I'll tell you how this night happened because I remember it very vividly, and I'll always remember it. Um, my mom tried to stop me whenever I was leaving that night, and she said, "Chris, I have a very bad like feeling. Don't leave." And I was like, "Mom, everything's fine," because I had just got my car back out of the shop. And she was like, "Don't leave, Chris. I have a bad feeling about it." And I was like, "Man, I'll be back tomorrow. It's fine." And I never came back. I didn't come back home for 11 years. Um,
Oh my gosh.
so crazy. Actually woke up in jail the next day because I'd taken so many Xanax. I didn't even know where I was at. I didn't know what happened. Um, Nothing. Like it was a blank, a blur. And I got woke up to arraignment court, and they were like, "Chris Strom, come in here." And I went in there, and they were like, "All right, well, 1 count of aggravated robbery, 2 counts of burglary of habitation." I was like, "What? Are you kidding? When did that happen?" And God, it was so crazy.
You had no clue. You're walking slop into arraignment. No idea.
No
Oh my
idea.
god.
Zero.
Oh
Didn't
my
have
god.
a clue. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh
it was
my
crazy.
gosh. Okay, so now did you clearly didn't call your family? You didn't make your phone call?
Oh, I definitely did. Yeah, no, I definitely
Oh, you
did.
did.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I actually
Was
heard
your
about it from my
family
mom.
there?
I actually heard about it from my mom first. Let me put that first. I heard it from her, but I didn't
Yeah.
believe her until I went to arraignment. Um, she said, "You're all over the news." I called her and I was like, "Mom, what am I doing here?" She said, "You're all over the news, Chris. Don't worry. We've already got you an attorney. Um, they're going to be visiting you."
Oh, Mama Dukes.
You know, the attorney they got me actually got arrested after seeing me in the parking lot of the jail.
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
yeah.
How does
He
that
got caught
happen?
with he got caught with some cocaine in an open container coming to see me, and he ended up walking into the jail, get put in the holding cell right next to me as I'm going out. I was like, "Well, I'm glad
I
I
would
didn't get you
die.
to represent me."
Oh my god, no.
It's
Okay,
crazy.
so now you didn't spend a long time in county, right? You just went straight. I don't know how long it takes to process in Texas.
So in Texas, it works like this: you go to the city jail, and I think they
Yeah.
can hold you in the city that I was in for 5 to 10 days, and then after that, you go to county, and they can hold you in the county that I was in up to 5 years, I think. Um, I was in there for 2 years.
Yeah,
No
mine.
sunlight. Yeah, I was in the county for 2 years before I actually caught the chain and went down to TDC.
Now, what is TDC? Tell our audience what TDC is.
TDC is a place you don't ever want to go. First of all, it's the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Um, that's the big boy state prison. I was 18, so I was just old enough to be classified as an adult. Um, so I left the
Going through
county.
your mind. What? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I
Oh,
apologize.
no, you're fine. I was gonna
No,
say I
go
left
ahead.
the county and I went to it's called the Gurney unit, and it was the first unit that I had been on, and it was like more of a diagnostic processing unit, so I didn't stay there very long.
Okay.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I'm sorry. So go ahead. What did you just say?
Oh, so whenever I got there, everybody talks about where they don't want to go. Um,
Yeah.
the best units to go to, the worst units to go to, right? And one of the worst units you could go to as a transfer facility is called Bradshaw. And Bradshaw is half state jail, half TDC. So, here I am, 18 years old, fresh 20 years. They gave me 20 years aggravated, by the way, which means that I have to do at least half of it in Texas to come up for parole.
Wow. I couldn't hear.
Which means you have to
He
do at least
wants to
half
be
of
in
it.
the podcast.
Huh?
He wants to be in the podcast, Chris.
Oh, I can't hear you. Breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I can't hear you now. Oh,
Yeah, I
doggone.
can't hear you either.
Can you hear me now?
You're cutting in and out.
Damn. All right, hold on. We're going to try to move a little bit closer here. Okay, so go ahead because I can still use the audio. So go ahead and tell us the rest of your story here.
Okay, yeah, Bradshaw. So Bradshaw is half state jail, half TDC.
Mm-hmm.
And which I don't know if you'll have state jail in Florida.
Yes.
Okay, so state jail, you don't have a parole. You have to do all of that flat time.
Oh no, we don't have it like that. No,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Ooh.
Yeah, so it's half of that. I could probably take up 5 of your podcasts with the stories I have just off that one unit. That was crazy. You don't understand.
Tell us a couple. Tell us what happens as an 18-year-old who walks into a big boy penitentiary. What's some of the stuff that you saw? This is what I'm trying to get across is some of our people. This is a social issue. This is things that people of any age should never have to endure. And I can't even imagine what you're about to tell us.
So, I agree with you, first of all. Okay, so I'll just start with the first thing that happened to me. Right whenever I walked in there, you have to try to imagine what it's like as a kid who, like, I don't know anything about this world. I don't know anybody that's ever been in that world. And I walk in, and right when I walk in, all these big old dudes got their shirts off, and they're working out by the door. And I walk in, and they're all like looking at me, You know how it is. It's how all prisons are. I can't find out. But right when I walked in, they ask you what you are. Like, are you going to be solo? Are you going to be, are you like Aryan Brotherhood? Are you Aryan Circle? What are you?
Rip. This is what they're asking you off rip as soon as you touch down.
Off the rip. They want to know because it's a gang unit. That unit is a gang unit. Like, it's not a gang.
God.
So I said, wood. What the hell is a wood? Like, you know what a wood is? And so I basically got indoctrinated right whenever I touched that unit to something that was totally false. And I ended up being a wood for the first, 3 years that I was in prison. And
I don't know what that is.
So in Texas, a wood is so it's not a gang, it's not a family. You're pretty much a solo white guy, or you hang around with a bunch of other solo white guys. So you're just a big group of solo white guys. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Prison politics, nobody will ever understand. I still don't. I did enough for 2 politician terms, but
yeah, never wanted to. Oh God.
So
okay, so that's first. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you walk in what do they call them there? Quads, dorms?
So every unit's different. You call them dorms, you call them pods. Whenever you get to the bigger units, they're called cell blocks.
Oh yeah.
Called dorms. But so right when I walked in the first day I was in there, I had to fight. And their checks, I don't even know, do they check y'all in Florida? Like, the people get checked in down there, is that a thing?
It's the most disgusting, horrifying thing for a woman to go through. It's the most degrading. I can't even tell you how disgusting. And this is by female officers, the things they say to you. Had it been on the streets back in the day?
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of women who are locked up, and they've all said that it's pretty rough. I can only imagine.
You have to be real strong to get through just that one moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, on this unit, every unit is different. I ended up going to, I don't even know, probably 10 different units. just bouncing around trying to go to school and get vocations and get closer to home and stuff like that. But this particular one, if you're brand new, you have to fight three guys back to back. No breaks. Like they'll send a guy in on you. You fight him for 30 seconds. They send another guy in on you. You got to fight him for 30 seconds, and they're going to send the big guy in last, and you're going to fight him for 45 seconds. So,
Oh my God. As soon as you walk
it,
in your door?
yeah, yeah, there was there was absolutely no security on this unit. I've seen some of the worst things I've ever seen in my life at that place. Oh, I've seen a guy getting some dude was like jumping on his head. Like the whole red yard was pools of blood. He was trying to get away. He was literally trying to climb over the barbed wire to get away from these guys. And that's not even the worst thing. It was pretty bad. So yeah, I ended up fighting a lot while I was there, just because I'm a little white guy. Back then, I think I only weighed 130 soaking wet.
Oh my gosh. You were
Yeah,
tiny.
I would fight a lot. Because I wasn't not going to fight. That's not an option. I knew if I didn't know anything
You
about prison.
can't not. That's not an option there. It's not an option on the female compound.
No, because if you do that, that'll follow you around everywhere. And
Everywhere.
so, yeah. So I got. There's so much to talk about, literally.
Wow.
I got so much respect just from the way that I handled myself down there that it actually followed me to different units. And then I started mixing the idea of what respect is to something that it's not. Like I thought that respect was okay, I have to fight all these people or I have to like be the man with all the cigarettes or hustle or this and that. And
Yeah.
it just escalated. It escalated exponentially because my family was they were good to me before I went to prison. And they were good to me while I was in prison.
Now, how long were you in, since we're talking about this, how long were you in? Because you're talking about it started just keep going and going. Did you stop? Did you have a moment, an epiphany?
Yes. Absolutely. And I remember the exact moment that it happened. I ended up going to another unit, and there was one guy.
Oh, I can't hear you again.
Uh-oh.
There
Can you
you
hear me?
go. I
Okay.
can now. You said there was one guy. Great
Yeah.
smile.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So in between the time I was talking about it first and the time that I was on this unit with this guy, a lot of things happened. I got into a lot of fights. We had some riots. A lot of my friends got busted with cash bringing into visitation. Like a lot of things. Too much to talk about. But
Right.
right. So by this time, like I said, I was a wood whenever I was there. Well, I ended up being solo whenever I left. Like I pulled all the way back because I fought this one guy. It's nothing to fight your own kind in there. Like everybody wants to fight their own people because you're not scared that you're gonna get jumped or beat up really bad. Like your own people aren't gonna hurt you, and in the back of your mind, you know that. So whenever it comes time to get down to fight somebody that's, and I'm just gonna talk about race because that's what it is in there, and that's kind of what you have to do to survive in there. So whenever you're fighting somebody of another race, a lot of people will not like they'll go from confident to a coward real quick.
Yes.
So I fought a guy. He was a black guy, and I liked the guy a lot. But I was tattooing for money in there for a little while, and he oh, sorry, my dog.
It's
Um,
okay.
he he gave me some money one time in advance, and I had told him that he still had to wait. Like I couldn't just bump him in front of everybody. You have to wait your turn in line, bro. I'm sorry. Like
I got 6 or 8 pick and pokes.
well, he thought he was this big badass, because he was a blood, and mainly that whole unit was bloods. Like it was not the group of people you wanted to get into it with. But so he thought that he was, just this King Kong big badass or whatever, and he was a big old dude. And like I said, I was 130 pounds. Yeah. Well, he approached me while I was watching TV. It was like 9 a.m. He approached me and he said, "Say, why don't you come knock me out, man? Just go ahead and get me out the way." I was like, "Bro, like how many times do I have to tell you? It's not how it works. Like, I'm not gonna put you in front of all these other people, bro." And he's like,
And
"Okay,
anybody who's ever been in the tattoo line knows
yeah,
that's not how it works. Unless you got
exactly.
real bread to break off.
Yeah, if you had some cash, I might have bumped you up, but he didn't." Um,
Right. Or some
uh,
bleach or something.
yeah, yeah, some cigarettes, something. But he got mad. We'll just say that he got really mad, and he started putting on this show for everybody, like walking around and beating his chest. "Oh, you don't want to? You ain't gonna pay me. You ain't gonna." Oh, he asked me to give him his money back if I wasn't gonna bump him up. I was like, "I'm gonna give you the money back, man." And he was like, "Oh, you ain't gonna pay me my money?
And
I'm
here
just gonna."
comes the rah-rah.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm just gonna take it then."
Oh,
And
shit.
I remember thinking, you know, please don't go over there and take my shit, because in my mind, I don't want to fight this guy, right? But I'm gonna have to. Like,
And
if you
it's
go over
9 in the morning.
there at 9 in the morning, um, so I'm thinking, man, just please don't go over there and do that, like, please. And sure enough, he walks right over there to my bunk. So I jump down, and what's crazy is everybody that slept right there with us, they were all Woods. They were all supposed to be my homeboys, right? Well, he opened up my locker and he reached his hand in, and right when he did that, I took off on him. To be honest, like, I hit him because I was thinking, okay, I got to get my best shot in. What's up? And so I hit him in the mouth and I uppercutted him and I set him up against the bunk and I was just pow, 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 both giving everything that I had. So all of his friends, homeboys came over there and broke it up. And like the head guy for a gang in Texas, they're called speakers. Like everybody has speakers. Do they have that in Florida?
I don't know because it's not like that in the girls, and I really haven't gotten to talk to a lot of the men yet. You're one of the first.
Well, down here, everybody who is the leader pretty much is called a speaker. And the speaker for the Bloods walked over to me, and me and him were pretty cool. I'd already done tattoos on him. And he's like, "Chris, what are you doing, bro?" Like, I was like, "What are you doing? What am I doing? What's your homeboy doing? He's just trying to steal my shit, like my stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, but you can't just steal off on him like that. Now y'all got to fight." I was like, "I know we got to fight, dude. What do you think I was doing to begin with? Like, I know that was you know what I mean?" Let me tell you something. Long story short, this guy, he took me back there. Over there, you have like this little tiny space where you can fight with it.
Oh, we can't hear you, Chris.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go. So there's a little tiny space and what?
There's a tiny space in between the bunks that you have to go to fight, so the COs can't see you.
Oh yeah. I put the camera in. I know that blind spot.
Yeah. So all the way, we go all the way to the back, and this guy just destroys me. Like my whole face was, he had me up against the wall. Just it was bad, but I never gave up. I fought him 5 times. They broke it up 5 times. I went in there, I cleaned my face off, and I went back in and I fought him again. And I went in there and cleaned my face off, and I fought him again. It seemed like it was never going to end. But
So meanwhile, back at the ranch, people are asking, where's the security? How's this happen inside the bunk? What do you
there was no
what do you want to say to that?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, there was no camera. So that's why they wanted to go to the back in the back corner, where the cameras aren't at.
Yeah.
So by the time it was all said and done, all of his friends ended up calling out all of my homeboys, and all of my homeboys didn't get out there for me. they all sat on their bunks and didn't do anything. So I was basically the only white guy in that whole tank that actually had the nuts to fight. Um, and that was like an epiphany for me. I was like, you know what? All of y'all are some bitches. Every single one of
Right.
you. And I called all of them out. Every single one of the homeboys, I called every
Because
single
you
one.
can right then.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Well, I got approached by, believe it or not, the Crips, the Bloods, the Gangster Disciples, Tongo Blast, and I believe Aryan Circle and Aryan Brother. I got approached by like 6 different gangs that day, wanting me to join.
Oh my God.
Like, dude, well, for one, I'm not gonna. Obviously, I can't. I mean, there were white Crips and white blood, but it just wasn't a thing in my mind. And plus, I was already a Wood, so I was like, no, it's just not gonna sit right with me if I go from being a Wood to something else. I'm just gonna be solo. Like,
Right.
fuck all this. Like, y'all know that I'll fight, so like, y'all should leave me the hell alone, you know.
Now, were you on your way out of this camp pretty much when this was happening? Oh, can't hear you again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah.
Yeah, if I put my other hand on the phone, it cuts it off for some reason. No, I was there for another year after that, I believe.
Holy moly.
But it was a good year then because I had already proven myself. Nobody messed with me anymore. It
Now,
was like
how old were you then?
I was 19, almost
Oh my
20.
God. That's only a year into the sins. Yes, you can take up like 5 of these podcasts. So I know that when we got to talk a little bit earlier, very briefly, you had mentioned education and the struggle about just we mentioned a trustee position. So can you tell our audience about those two things that are just mind-boggling?
Wow, it's almost like I give you perspective and everything that led up to that because there's so many crazy things and it would like if I just tell you, a little bit about it, you're gonna be like, oh, that's cool. But so that's what the book is for. That's why I'm gonna write a book because obviously, we
We'll
can't
be
have
here to promote it for you, hopefully.
that would be great. Thank you.
You're
Um,
welcome.
so yeah, I'm gonna try to do that. But for the sake of the show, yeah, I ended up putting in for college, thinking that I was gonna go to a because I had already got a vocational for electrical. I got a vocation for computer aided drafting and architectural design. Um,
Wow.
and so I was like, well, you know what? I need to do something with my time. And so I put in for college. And I left another unit. They called me one day and they said, you're going to Beto. And I was like, what? I'm going to Beto. I just put in for college. Like, do they even have college there? And they're like, yeah. So long story short, I caught Shane to Beto. Oh no! I think my phone's dying.
Oh no. We're gonna see if he comes back on, guys. Give us just a second. Well, we're gonna make this a part 2. How about that? See you soon.